So we're here today for an interview with Gigi. Gigi and I met at the Hearts of Beauty in Oklahoma. We sat at a table over a meal, and I was hearing, I'm not even sure who asked the question. Maybe it was me. Those kind of conversations when you're eating, you don't know everybody, and somebody starts telling a story that you're like engaged with. I was mesmerized by Gigi and her sister. They had such beautiful energy together, and there was a story for each of them. And so with Gigi, she was explaining a situation that she was frustrated about, things that she saw and wanted to make different and make better. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to know this woman. I want to interview her because it sounds to me like she had an idea. She had a gift of seeing something that needed to be done. And it wasn't all roses, I know, because there's no such thing. And now she is telling a story about something that's making a difference for a lot of people. And she didn't come to that situation lightly. And so that's what this interview is about, that she's going to share more in depth. I like not, we didn't even get as much time as I wanted to because, you're limited on an event. And yet I knew her story would inspire someone somewhere to keep going, to take a risk, take a leap, and understand that there are more possibilities, choices, and options that we all have access to. And when we see someone else do it, then we're like, maybe there's a chance. So this is the beautiful Gigi.
Hi, Maggie. So the basic, my story began in a Pentecostal church. It's really called apostolic, very old fashioned, lots of rules, lots of regulations. You were raised to marry a pastor. That was your goal, to marry a pastor and be his servant for the rest of your life. That was, it was just ingrained into you. And then I was raised by a father who had a lot of anger issues that stemmed from his father leaving him and his five siblings. And my dad, at 14 years old, had to quit school and go to work. And so he had a lot of anger with that. And he never dealt with that anger. And I was the youngest. I was a daddy's girl, but I was also the girl that when dad was mad, I got the brunt of his anger. So I got a whooping every day, whether I needed it or not. And they were fierce, they were ferocious whoopings. And as soon as his anger was spent, then he was done. And that was the attention that I got. And so I learned that negative attention was good attention.
Mhm.
That also made me an introvert. I was very scared to talk to people. I was scared of any situation that, I don't know, just everything was intimidating to me. I was intimidated by everything and everyone. So in every situation, I just bent with the wind so that I didn't have confrontation. So that led me into a lot of paths of doing things that were unhealthy for my body, unhealthy for my mind, and unhealthy for my future, which I'll touch on. Um, so I was in my mid 20s and never went to college. That wasn't an option. We weren't taught to go to college because you were going to marry a preacher and that's what you were going to do. So I took a leap of faith and I went to massage school the day of the bombing on the 11th, which was a weird traumatic day.
9/11?
Yeah,
9/11?
9/11 was the first day I went to massage school. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I plotted through, I got my license and in the process married a man who was my ruler. He treated me just like my father, except that he was also verbally abusive. And I dealt with it and I thought, oh, well, this is normal. Um, he, the career I chose was not appropriate for him because I was touching people's bodies, and that's not something that we do when we're married to men that are controlling because I was his property.
Mhm.
So it took about 5 years and um, a lot of lessons learned in that before I left that toxic relationship. And within that, in that period, was where I really went downhill and became an alcoholic. And in the process, I got pregnant. Um, when my child was born, when he cried, I was almost 30 years old. When he cried, something changed in me. I literally heard something in my brain snap. When that happened, I grew up. I I stopped everything I had been doing because my life was then for my child. I grew a backbone that day. It was the weirdest thing. Because of this child, I became strong, and God awoke something in me. I had left the religion for 10 years, never thought about God, didn't think about anything because I was so bruised and so just, I don't know, just so damaged that I didn't want anything to do with anything that I had had in the past. Um, so it was a 2 year period where I was raising my child on my own and just trying to be a member of society. Come here, Dodge. And I still wasn't making quite right decisions, and I got pregnant again out of wedlock. Well, with just before I'd gotten pregnant, I had went on a double date with a blind date with this man, and the man that I was on the double date with, um, we all became friends, and he dated one of my employees. Long story short, didn't last very long. Found out I was pregnant. He knew I was pregnant. Both of our partners broke up with us, and um, he said, "You're the one for me." He said, "The minute I saw you, I knew that God had something special for us." And being pregnant, it didn't matter to him. He loved me, um, and ended up being my knight in shining armor. He was exactly the person that God had planned for me. Um, so we together have been together for 15 years now, but he also had generational trauma. Um, his father had neglected him in that his brother had been in an accident and had mental issues and stuff, and all of his attention went to his um, younger son. And my husband got neglected. My husband was not paid attention to. There was no love for him, and nothing he did was good enough. And so that translated into anger issues for him, which was ironic that I went into a marriage, with anger issues, and my dad had the same thing. But we went through a period of toxicity, but we also had started church together right at the beginning of our relationship. And it was a new church that I was never going to go back to church. But it was a man that, this long haired preacher that just sat on a stool, and he didn't preach, he just taught. And he, he had been a scholar, and learned so much about the Bible, and was able to speak just one on one with us in a way that taught us who Jesus was, taught us just the simplicity of the love of Jesus. Um, so this was again at the beginning of our relationship and my children, um, and was able to teach me things about raising my children. Um, very open and honest with us, and I learned so much from this man. Godly wisdom. So I learned that through watching my sister raise her children the same way that we had been raised. You're to be seen and not heard. And if you do anything wrong, you get whacked, and then you get told later what happened. With my kids, I purposed in my heart that when an issue arose, that perhaps they had done something they shouldn't, this is what we're going to do. We're going to sit down, and I'm going to tell you what happened and what I think went wrong. And I asked them, what do you think that you did that was inappropriate? And they would tell me, this is what I did. Um, and I would say, so here's your options. I believe that you need punishment for this. So I'm going to give you a couple of options, and you're going to choose what it's going to be, and this is what's going to happen. And none of them were good choices. They didn't like any of them, but
Mhm.
they would choose. And so that's the punishment that we would go with. Um, Now, I spanked my kids, but before I did, I sat them down and I said, here's what you did. This is why you're getting a whooping. Here's what we did. And it wasn't a lot, but when it deserved it and it was big, I'd whoop my kids. And a lot of people aren't about that, but I felt like, and I talked to them to this day, they were like, Mom, it was right because of the way that you did it. You didn't just go wallop us and yell. Yeah, you explained and we understood and we knew why we did, and we knew we did something wrong. And they would always admit to me. Now, I will tell you that there were times when they were little, because I did teach them to believe in Jesus. I was learning with them. I would say, I'm gonna go. If I felt that they were lying, I'd say, I'm gonna go pray. And when I pray, is Jesus gonna tell me that you're telling me the truth? And their little hearts were so soft, and they'd well up with tears and be like, no, or yes, Mom, of course, I'm telling you, and I would know, so it may have been underhanded. I'm sorry, Lord, I used you.
Doing the
But
best you could. Doing the best you could.
I did. So, anywho, so back to my husband and I. So we knew that we were in a place that wasn't healthy. We knew what we wanted. We waited 7 years to get married because both of our marriages had only lasted 5 years, and we knew that we wanted a purpose-driven marriage and we wanted it to last. And so we decided to go to Christian counseling. Well, when we did, this man, oh, God used him so mightily in our lives. He spoke of generational curses, generational trauma, and got back to the root of why we were angry, why um, certain situations we were so volatile towards each other, because his anger brought out my defensiveness, and me putting up that wall. Yeah. It was just a never ending circle. We couldn't break past that. And so he was able to talk to us and tell us. And I have the world's worst memory. I had twins. They sapped everything. Can't remember word for word how he went about it. But I suggest to every person, I don't care how old you are, I don't care whether you think you need it or not, go to Christian counseling just to have somebody on the outside that has been taught um, how to address those situations and just the generational trauma. I don't even know how to explain how it was that he worked through it, because I'm just terrible at remembering things. But basically, he just went through a lot of questions that had us touch base on, like, what were things that hurt you when you were a kid? What were things that disappointed you? How did your parents talk to you? When your parents spoke to you, what did it make you feel? So he would just went through this whole progression of things. And then he made us turn around and he would read back, you felt this. When you felt this, what did you do? And then he turned around and made us realize our actions in those moments. And so through that process, then we realized that we're not on the wagon train anymore. People are allowed to have emotions. And how we express those emotions is where that's where our real life situations come out. So it was so crazy that we had just went through a year and a half before we had went through all of this, and then we went through the Hearts of Beauty. If you have not been to a Hearts of Beauty event, you must. It is a form of therapy like you have never seen. It is not a traditional women's conference. Going through that process brought out a healing in me. So I was able through that process then to also help my husband realize and let go of, he still hadn't, he knew what his triggers were, that it was his dad and all of this, but to help him get through releasing that and finding some peace and just letting go of all that. So running backwards a bit, I did my massage therapy for 20 years. Um, my body, I'm in my 40s, and my body 4 years ago decided that that repetitive motion was too much. I had started having surgeries, so I had to retire from massage therapy. Um, that whole road was intimidating to me because of me being an extrovert or an introvert, um, and having to meet brand new people every time that I was giving a massage if they weren't somebody new, and having to learn how to talk to them. Excuse me. But um, that made me come out of my shell. Why I chose a job where I had to deal with people one on one and talk to them,
Intimately in their nakedness?
right? Yes. But it helped fix that. But I will tell you this, that God gave me a gift. Um, I don't, obviously, you can see I don't know how to speak. I am not a speaker at all. I don't have words. I don't have beautiful prayers. I don't have a finesse, a way of speaking. But God has drawn people to me in the weirdest ways that they will come to me for advice. And I'm like, you know how messed up my life has been? Do you know how unworthy I am to talk to you about any situation? But every time that I'm put in those situations, the words that come out of my mouth, they're not my words. They are divine and they are given by God. And I'm also very emotional. um, so God has used me to speak to other people. Um, and through all of this, He has made me an extrovert, and He has given me joy. And it is, I can't, when I'm in a situation where I begin to learn people, I've learned that He gave me humor. Humor was the way that I overcame all my insecurities and all of the pain. There was a lot of pain in there. He gave me humor to deal with that. And my one of my sons was overweight, and he learned through me that humor was his way to overcome. Humor opened the doors for him as well. And now he was so shy. And just at the age of 14, he is already overcoming that through his humor. And God has led him, taught him, he's taught himself guitar. Now he is playing with the church band. And I see him up on stage just chatting with people, and it's just the most amazing thing. So I don't know if there's nothing special that I have done other than just realizing that sometimes these situations, you just take it an hour at a time, then you take it a day at a time, then you take it a week at a time. And then before you know it, you're a year out from that situation, and um, you're able to look past that and just move on. And here's one of the things that I have also learned. I've started a second business with my brother-in-law, um, right when I retired. I do handcrafted candles. I'm crafty because of the way that we were raised. We didn't have a TV or anything, so you had to find things to do. And so this business is helping handicap individuals and children to sell their products, anything that they make. We have a Made in Oklahoma store here in Oklahoma, in Tuttle, Oklahoma. Um, so I get to help people do that. So I am a servant at heart, just because I think it stems back to the way I was raised. And so this helps me to be a servant to other people. And then I also get to use my testimony to talk to other people. They're believers, and they'll come in the store and they'll hear the Christian music on, and that lets them know. And then they'll open their heart to me. It's the weirdest thing. I'll just have people that I don't even know, and they'll cry on my shoulder and they'll just talk to me. I don't even know why that God gave me that gift. He did. I love it. I'm not ashamed of it, and I don't unlike it. But anywho, so we have then, through me starting my own business and stepping out, um, and then starting this business with my brother-in-law, it has also opened the door to where my sisters and my cousin have become brave, and now us together have started a third business. Just stepping out in faith. And it's just all we're doing is cleaning homes and businesses for realtors that are selling. Uh, it's simple, but it's another servant task. And here I am in a servant's role again.
Is your love language acts of service?
Yes, absolutely, it is.
I hear
It
it.
is. And that's one thing that I learned about myself. I did not know that through counseling is that he did the whole love language survey with us and found out what our love languages were. So um, yeah, that was pretty intense on that part too, learning a lot about myself that I had no clue about.
Okay, this is rich. I'm not sure if you have figured this out yet. In my depth, I remember a friend giving me that book, and I was mad because I was like, really? This book is all about marriage. Really? And she's like, get past that and just get to the five languages of love and how you serve and want to be served in your next relationship. And I was like, I don't know. It was such a bad breakup. I don't know if I'm ever, like that. Never ever will I. I was
Yep.
a little angry. Um, so when I read that book, I was like, so it was a long time ago. I want to say I was trying to remember. I think I was 25 and I was just like, ooh. Yet recently, so fast forward 25 years later, you know what I realized? When we are acts of service, it's what we can control.
That's probably true. I mean, I absolutely see that. I absolutely
And
see that.
so I don't know if you want to answer this, you don't have to. It was something within me that I learned this year, literally this year in January when I turned 50 and I went out to Nashville for my birthday with one of my clients and really good friends she is the queen of self-care. I think I might have told you about her. She's massaged for 30 years plus, and she had a business in Michigan and then went to Nashville. She's like, you're going to come to Nashville and receive. And I was like, I don't know about that because I can control what I do for others, yet I wasn't on the receiving end to truly receive. And there were parts of it that I finally was like, I'm at max capacity. I'm good. And she'd be like, well, I have a few more plans. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, I'm so good right now. I'm great. And I will work on this more, but I'm at capacity. Like I am in such a way. I'm like, because I can control what goes out, yet I would block what was coming in because I'd say, no, 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 I don't want you to do that. And I was blocking blessings. And I wasn't allowing someone else to bless me like I bless people, like on the regular, you know what I mean? And so it was such an awareness, literally just in the last couple of months of like, oh, okay. So that opportunity of saying, oh, thank you. Thank you. I received that. And it's hard. It's speechless. I'm
It's
literally
so
speechless.
hard. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, it is hard. Well, it's it I know exactly what you're saying because I run my house. I ran businesses. I run vacations. I plan them. I know where we're going. I know the itinerary. I know every single thing. Um, but when my husband steps in and says, "Babe, let me do this," um, it is so hard to hand over the reins. It is so hard. And I have had to tell him, I know that this is your place, your job, what you want to do. I'm going to step back and you tell me if you want help because if I don't, my hands are all in it. And I have to curb myself. I have to check myself.
Mhm.
And it is hard. And my sister is she's very, very, very thoughtful. She's so thoughtful. If anybody's sick, she brings them soup. She does. I'm not that nice. I don't remember to bring things to people. I don't remember to give you a card. If you get a gift, I give you a gift. And it doesn't have a foofy bow with a card. I just give you the gift. It's wrapped pretty. But I forget to do all the little thought with a pretty note. you know, the post-it left on my mirror that says, "You're amazing." Whatever, just the teeny tiny things, all the little things. She remembers all the details. And she's constantly doing stuff. And it actually makes me feel bad because I'm like, why can't I just, I don't know, not just be like that, but just to accept it. It, I don't know. It's really weird. It's
It's not.
weird to
Okay, it's
accept
not.
it.
I just loaded a course within our Worthy Collective that we taught on, and it's the BAR method. Believe, ask, allow, receive. And essentially, it's an infinity loop that we believe in whatever the situation that we want to serve. We believe that we have something to make a difference, like your candles and the creativity and the mission behind service, right? Serving something that somebody's made and they'll have something beautiful, that whole thing. Then you ask, okay, is this really what they would need? Because if we made a whole bunch of liver and onions, yeah, it might be a smaller need, right? You know what I mean? Like you figure out the ask of like what, who, what, where, all of the things. Is there a benefit there? Or asking, what do I need? Or what does my client need? And then you go up to the allowance because then you allow somebody to truly bless you with your beautiful candle, with the creativity of something that's more than just a candle, right?
Right.
It's handmade. It's an experience that you literally know that there's something more behind it than some label and a price and, a profit. It's way more. Then the greatest part is the receive. But it literally is an infinity loop. And so what that also does is it's the hiccup of comparison because you're comparing your allowance, your receive, like you're comparing yourself to her, which she's different, right? Just like I'm sure there's different things that you have and allowing that to be what it is and allowing it because I mean, like you're saying you're not eloquent. Oh, hell yeah, you are. Oh my gosh. Like the things that you're saying, I literally have the chills. And to know that you're saying that that's not like you're not a scripted person. This isn't comfortable. It wasn't like you rolled out of bed and you're like, sure, no problem. Like this was like, it's that comfort zone. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I don't want to say yes, but I kind of do. I know I will. And when I see my son, he's saying yes. And I'm the example because you found purpose. You found purpose. You found purpose when you were 30 and had your baby. Some women have never found purpose
That's true.
and they have kids or they never have kids, but they don't really realize what they have mothered, mentored, served. You know what I mean? And so it's that comparison that can really rock us because, you're absolutely different and similar in a lot of ways. Yet it's recognizing that some people see that detail, but I'm gonna guess, just to throw it out there, that your creativity is your detail.
Yes, absolutely.
Your structure, the things that you see when you're putting it together. And that's why it's hard to let it go because you can see the whole path.
Right.
It's a futuristic that you have that you were given that gift of genius. All of us have it, just like our fingerprint. We all have a fingerprint. It's different. It just blows me. I don't know how God did that. Like all of us have a different fingerprint. We do.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
like we all have a gift of genius. So that might be your sister's gift of genius, and your gift of genius is different. And that's what makes you guys so good and the willingness to do a business together so you can fill each other's gaps.
Right. Well, it's so funny how as women we compare ourselves to other people. I struggled with that a lot. But in growing and in being a mother and seeing the individual traits of all five of my children, um, it actually changed something in me. Now I'm a heavy girl. A lot of people are are trained to look down on people that are heavy or look down on people that have acne or that their eyes are close to set together, um, or they have a long Indian nose, whatever it may be. And I learned a very, very big lesson. And that was self-love. If you don't love yourself, you'll never love anyone else. You'll never have the capacity
Mhm.
to truly, fully love anyone else.
Mhm.
And so I decided, if you don't love me, you don't love me. You get all or nothing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so um, this goes into choosing your circle too. And this can be applied to children. It can be applied to women. It can be applied to men. It doesn't matter anything. Choose your circle. You choose people who are like-minded, who think like you. Um, Not necessarily are all of the people in my circle in love with Jesus like I am.
Mhm.
There are two who are not. However, they um, they they are beautiful people.
Mhm.
They are kind. They're thoughtful. They have manners. Um, they like to laugh. They enjoy life. Um, and no Debbie Downers in my circle. Not one. Because if you're a Debbie Downer, I'm going to talk you out of it. And well, you're either out or we're going to
Or,
uplift. We're going
or,
to uplift you, and we're going to um, just positive sprinkle all over your life until you can see the good side of things. Um,
well, and it goes back to what you said before, is it's that choice, like when you were offering it to your kids, it's a choice, and that if people are married to that choice of being a double downer, then you know that you need a boundary.
yeah,
Otherwise, they do have a choice, and if they're willing, they're also capable. That's when the beauty happens because you can see that process. And it's interesting
right,
that you bring it up because I've had some women who have come to our worthy collective and they're like, well, I don't know, because there's so much judgment around faith. And I'm like, whoa, 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 listen, we're all on a different journey. We all are. Now, would it be lovely to all sing Kumbaya and say the same Lord's Prayer? Sure, that's not truth. I grew up
mm-mm,
in a Catholic school for from kindergarten to six, and they said a different Lord's Prayer than we did on the weekend as a Presbyterian. It doesn't matter, we're still praying.
right,
Right? And so it's an awareness where I've now on every call I'm opening up, say, hey, listen, whether you are here today live, you're on video, you're not on video, like there's a lot of grace here because we are competing with ourselves and who we were yesterday. And we're recognizing that everybody's journey in their health and their wealth and their business, if they have a business and their faith, and if they have any kind of spirituality, that that's their path. And by being gracious, you can inspire somebody to want to level up something somewhere, yet that's not for me to decide. Like that is
right.
someone's personal preference. And
Mhm.
being in that circle, it's precious. It's
And I want people to remember that the Bible says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Do you think that he took leftovers and splashed it, just smushed it into being, is like, here, this is you? No, he didn't. He picked your eye color. He picked every specific thing about you. So when you look in the mirror and you're like, God, I'm so ugly. I wish I looked different. Really? You think that low of God that you don't think that he loved every specific thing about you that he chose?
Mhm.
He loved the way he shaped your eyebrows. He was like, this is perfect. I love this one. Every piece of you, he thought enough of you to say, this is where I'm putting this. This is where I want this freckle. I want it exactly like this. You are perfect. Doesn't matter what you look like. You're perfect. And forget the outward appearance. Your heart is who you are, not your body.
Mhm.
So, as long as, again, fall in love with yourself. When you fall in love with yourself, you exude. It's just something that people are drawn to. They can see when you love yourself, and it gives you um, uh, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Good Lord. Anywho's, but they just see that in you and they're drawn to that. So just don't forget who you are as a person, that you're exactly perfect the way you are. Now there are little things that we can work on, but just who you are in essence as a person is just beautiful. You're just beautiful.
I absolutely, and I think that that's what's missing so much, and there would be so much more joy.
Absolutely. Yep. I went through a period of depression, um, where I just didn't care anymore, and I'd lost my joy. My joy is the thing people love about me. So because again, I told you I'm humorous, I'm goofy. I don't care what people think. I just love to have fun. And so there's a lot of our family members that, if we have a get together, they'll be like, "Is Gigi going? Is Gigi going?" And if I'm not going, they're like, I don't know, I may not go. But but it's because I'm goofy and I just like to make everybody laugh. And if everybody's laughing and having fun, then we're having a good time. And our family is just really like that anyways. We're silly. But I went through a period where I had lost a lot of that laughter. And so when we did do the counseling, we had both reached rock bottom. I knew it was rock bottom, and it was desperate times call for desperate measures. Um, the one thing that I prayed for most, aside from my relationship with my husband and both of us healing, was that God would restore that joy. Because that is that's a gift God gave me. It is an essence, and I don't want to ever misuse or lose that gift, uh, because it is an icebreaker. It makes people comfortable. And when I'm in a situation where, say, I'm at my store and there's somebody that walks in and I'm talking with somebody else and a story about God, and it makes them uncomfortable, I'm still infusing humor. And through all of that, it seems to relax people and make them comfortable. So, you know, it's that maybe just my
But the gift, no, it's an absolute gift because then laughter does, it brings up someone's opportunity to be lighter and not so serious. So see, again, there's your gift. There's your gift in seeing and feeling in that awareness that something needs to change in that setting. You know what I mean? And you feel it and you acknowledge it, and that's beautiful because it makes a difference because then the person in front of you is actually seen
right.
because you
Well,
reflected that.
my oldest sister is so stinking shy. She works with me at this business, the second business, making the candles and stuff. And she's so extremely shy that she finds it really, really hard to talk to people. But she told me, she said, "I love being here with you," because she said, "I want to be involved. I
Hmm.
show her how to be involved because I'm such an introvert. I don't know how to open my mouth and speak or to say things that, like you do." She said, "You just talk and you just do it." She said, "But I live vicariously through you. And I have incredible days, whether I say anything or not, because I'm just enjoying the joy that God has given you." So, let your blessing too be a blessing to other people.
Hmm.
Don't hide it. So that's why I'm a blessing to my sister,
Yeah.
and not even on purpose.
Yeah. Well, and such a great awareness in your family to be able to have that conversation that she can tell you that,
Yep.
because then she's allowing more blessings in for the example that you're setting, that she can little by little, like you said, little by little, make those adjustments if she wants to.
Right.
Otherwise, it's a choice to be in that setting
Yeah.
and how important that circle is.
Yeah. Well, it's important too. I know, if we've been injured, it is very hard to open up. It is very hard to express feelings because you say, to yourself, "Well, if I give, will it be given back to me?" It is a fear thing of, excuse me, not wanting to show an emotion because it could backfire on you, because that happens so many times.
Mhm.
Dad, I would express an emotion to dad and it would be dismissed. And if he was in a bad mood, then I would get snapped at, or, then it would exacerbate the situation. Um, but I found that in opening up, um, It's got to go to a spot. In opening up and showing that vulnerability, even though a lot of times it wasn't reciprocated, um, something in me was released. So take a chance. Take a chance to be vulnerable with people and to share emotions and feelings, because it it eventually will be rewarded. You will get that back, and that's something that I've taught my children. It is okay to um, tell people what your emotions are. It's okay to tell me that you're angry, and it's okay to be angry. Even Jesus was angry. It's okay, um, but make sure that you're opening those doors, because you never know when one of those doors is going to lead to you being able to help somebody else,
Mhm.
because they too may be vulnerable and may be unwilling to share. And you opening that door allows them the freedom to open that door as well. And for me, it is, there's been a lot of situations where I have been vulnerable to a customer or whatever, um, that they may have accidentally shared something or overshared. And I'm like, no, 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 it's okay. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open. And then when we're done, the woman may be weeping or she may be happy or whatever. And she will leave before she leaves and she'll just say, oh my gosh, thank you. I needed this so much. You have no clue how much I have needed this conversation for the last week, month, year, whatever. And I've never found somebody that has just opened up. And it's crazy because that too then gives me a repeat customer because of just that situation. And they'll always come in and have a word of encouragement or want encouragement, and I'm able to do that because I wasn't afraid.
Yeah. And it's a gift. It's a gift
It
back to
is.
you.
It is.
Oh my
I love.
gosh, if more people could open their gifts.
Yes. Yes. Share
Well,
that with
my
them.
sweet friend, I am my expectations were blown open. I felt that energy at the table, absolutely, with you and with your sister. And it's not by accident, by no means. So
No.
I thank you for your precious time, and I will make sure I collect your bio, all the information, so that if there's a chance that someone's in your area, or if they want to ask any questions because they want to create, I'm literally thinking of a friend that might want to create what you've created here in Michigan, because it's been on her heart a number of times of some things just in that same light that could be so beautiful. So you just never know where that might be, and yet that inspiration to choose in.
Yeah. Well, she's welcome to email me.
Okay,
It's gigi.robertson3 at gmail.
perfect.
And I would be happy to communicate with her.
Yay, awesome. Well, and any businesses, because we do have Kate who is in Oklahoma. So, if there's someone in the area, because she invites somebody to our collective that could end up being one of your clients. I love the gift of referrals. It's one of my favorites because it's a warm connection, and it's no matter how much social media is out there, it's still the
Yes.
best. It's still the
Yes,
best.
I agree. I
So I
agree.
thank you for your precious time today.
Of course. Thank you so much, Maggie. I appreciate you.
Back at ya.